Hey guys, I'm Ashley Seeger. I am a 29-year-old personal trainer out here in Palmdale, California, and I have been training since I was 21 years old. And so since then, I have gone through a lot. I have had a lot of experience with many different clients. I have gone through different transformations, and I just want to tell you guys a little bit about me, so you could get to know me better and see where I'm coming from. So I have been sober for 5 years, and this year I will be sober for 6. So the first few years of my career in personal training, I was living a double life. It was really hard for me to live a life that I practiced what I preached, and I took drinking to a whole nother level. I did stuff that I never would have imagined, and I definitely was not happy with where I was. I was still working out, I was still working with clients, I was teaching yoga, and I was doing all these things, but on the weekends, it just, weekends, 4 to 5 days out of the week, I was rearranging my clients so I could drink, and my life just became super unmanageable, and eventually I made the decision to stop drinking. I had enough bad stuff happen to me, a series of unfortunate events happened, and I decided that I needed to get sober. And once I got sober, I started to all of a sudden practice what I preached, and I started seeing my changes happen overnight, and my attitude and the people I hung out with, the people that I chose to surround myself were mostly my clients, because they had the same goals as me. They wanted to live a better life. They wanted to experience new things, and I stopped drinking, and I really got my shit together. And I started setting goals, like what did I want to do, and I always had a goal of doing a bikini competition, and I've always had a dream of running a marathon. And so first off, I decided, hey, I'm gonna run a marathon. I started training. I was riding a bike everywhere. That was my mode of transportation. I totaled my car, and for a few years, I think it was about 2 years, I rode a fixed gear bike around town, getting to and from work and other places, and that was my mode of transportation. So 2 years into it, I was training, I was swimming, and I might as well have done a triathlon, but I did my first marathon and did amazing, and I fell in love with running. And then I said, okay, what's next on that bucket list? I want to do a bikini competition. And so doing that bikini competition, I did one on my own. I prepped myself, and it was very horrible. It was a really bad experience. I deprived myself. I really just didn't give myself enough food, and I was overtraining and just not in a good place. But I decided to see a coach. I got coaches, and I ended up doing a bikini competition again, and I competed for about 2 years, and I got nationally qualified, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. But then at the end, I started noticing that when I was not in prep, I wasn't so happy. I was having some binge eating issues, and it started turning dark real fast, and I was contemplating competing, and I said, no, I don't want to do this. And all this time I became a cycle instructor. Once I was riding my bike everywhere, finally got my license back 2 years later, and my things started getting good, and eventually I got to a dark place again with my eating issues, and I stayed sober, but I felt like I wasn't, because I felt so insane, and I was so obsessed with working out and overtraining and not eating enough, and it was really hard. So over time, I noticed that my behaviors were too much, and I just was at a point where I needed help, and I reached out to some people that I knew that could help me, and I started changing my behaviors, started changing what I was doing. I made the decision, after, I went back and forth competing a lot, and my coach will tell you, and he was a support of whatever decision I made. He wasn't depriving me. It was just my behaviors and my thinking afterwards. So in December of 2000, we are in 2016, I think it's 2013, maybe 2012. I did my first Spartan race, and that was in Malibu, and it was a sprint, and it's a shorter distance race, and I fell in love. The competition was amazing, and just the terrain and everything else was amazing. And since then, I have became a Spartan SGX coach. I train clients. I started my own boot camp called Becoming Badass, and you'll see some shirts here. I am a badass. I have shirts made for people that have been in boot camp for a long time and have done amazing things, and pretty much are badass, and they've completed challenges that I run. And so I run my own boot camp. I still teach yoga and cycle, and my life since I have been able to work on my eating issues has been amazing. I've found balance and I'm able to train, and since my first Spartan race I have completely changed my life around. I no longer eat for aesthetics, I eat to perform, and I allow myself to indulge. And since then, for 2 years, I completed many races. Last year I was ranked top 15 out of the women's elite, and I was able to take a few podium wins, and it was amazing. And I've completed World's Toughest Mudder. I placed 6th out of a lot of amazing women. And there's so many awards and things I could tell you that I've gotten, and so many medals that I've achieved, but it doesn't add up to anything that I feel. And those medals are great and I love them, but I have gotten so much more besides a medal from doing those races. And I've been able to help people train for these events that have also changed them mentally and emotionally, and it's been a great experience. And that's why I've really stuck with Spartan racing, and it makes me emotional because I know what it's done for me, and I just want to give it to other people. And that's by doing the boot camps that I've done, I have been able to do that. And something that happened recently in January of this year, I was training for an event, an endurance event. I decided that endurance events are more my thing. I like longer duration. I've completed 2 Ultra Beasts. I've placed 2nd in the Ultra Beasts at the World Championships, and I just love the long duration events. And so I was training for an event called TPK, and there was rock climbing involved. And so I was bouldering, a little tired maybe at the end of the day. I landed wrong and I tore my ACL, my meniscus and MCL, and I instantly yelled out, "I have a race next weekend!" And it was a horrible experience. And this Monday, it makes me emotional because I've missed out on so much, but in the end, I've been able to help so many other people this past year. And injuries suck. Everyone gets them. You're an athlete, everyone's gonna get those injuries, and some might take longer than the others to heal. And I'm at 4 months right now since surgery, and haven't been able to run since January, and haven't been able to race. But I had to switch my perspective, and I've blogged about it and I wrote about it, and it's so hard. But I made the decision to really put my efforts towards coaching, and this year has been amazing to help all these people become better humans. I ripped so many people off the couch. I've encouraged and inspired people that I don't even know, and I am so grateful that I have that opportunity. And I now have that opportunity to share it with everyone else and share my experience with this injury, because whether or not it's a rolled ankle or a broken finger, but any injury is going to hold you back for some amount of time. And if people could realize that they could do something else, and they could reach out, and they're so much capable of so much more. And this injury has really opened my eyes, and I've been able to coach and really put my focus somewhere else. The past 2 years I've traveled all over the world racing and competing and doing these amazing events with amazing people and meeting millions of people, and I'm so grateful for all that experience. And so I'm going out to my first race this weekend just to actually hike it. I don't need to run it, but just to be out there, not compete, and just experience what I first experienced that first race. And I'm so proud to be a coach. I'm so proud to be a coach today, and I'm still going through the the transformation from this ACL injury. And my body has transformed, maybe not in the ways that I've liked. I went from running 40 miles a week to nothing, and I wasn't able to do cardio for the first few months. And now that my body's starting to adjust, I'm getting to this place to where it's amazing. I don't know, and I'm finding peace with this whole situation. And all I know now is that I'm super grateful for everything that I've been able to do. And I want to thank you guys for listening, and for those of you that are in Spartan and part of Spartan, I am so happy that you guys made this decision to make this change in your life. But just by doing one race, it changes your perspective on life. And I know that, through my alcoholism, I could conquer that, and I could work on that every day. My perspective, I could work on that every day. My injury, I could help with all that. And, it's just a great experience. And, yes, it's bad in some ways, but I've learned so much, and now I could share my experience with you guys. So I hope you guys, like what you see, and if you guys have any questions or feel touched, please let me know. I love to see messages, and I love to see comments, you know, and I'm willing to reach out to anyone. So again, my name is Ashley, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys out on the course soon.